podcast, the only podcast called Never Seen It that's worth listening to. With us tonight, Mr. Arnie, the One-Man Party. Mr. Daily Dares, aka Filipino Grigio, is here. Mr. Donnie Appleseed. Mr. Ghost Nerd 88. And then there is also Milkman America. America's Milkman. And there's me, of course, Boots Too Big. And with us tonight we have two special guests. Donald is the host of Absolute Marks podcast. He's joining us tonight. Welcome, Donald. And we also have Matt Struck, hold of Matt Struck Media. He is a lifelong creative and a friend of mine who I met when I worked for the local public access channel here in the beautiful state of Colorado. Welcome, Matt. Happy to have you here tonight as well. It's live full team coverage. We're doing full team coverage tonight. We got our man in San Diego. We got our man in Denver. We got our man in Washington State, Las Vegas. There is no place the Never Seen It podcast is not in reporting from the latest and greatest. But tonight we're talking about an older movie, going back to our roots kind of a little bit, because lately we've been doing a lot of Oscar stuff. Now that that's all over, I can't believe the winner was beep by the time this episode comes out. We'll talk about it later though. We're doing the 1996 Danny Boyle directed movie Trainspotting, starring Ewan McGregor. Heroin addict Mark Renton stumbles through bad ideas and sobriety attempts with his unreliable friends, Sick Boy, Begbie, Spud, and Tommy. He also has an underage girlfriend. That's not relevant. Diane along for the ride. After cleaning up and moving from Edinburgh to London, Mark finds he can't escape the life he left behind as Begbie and Sick Boy come a knocking. So that's the movie. I believe this was Arnold's movie, right, Arnold? You chose This is not your movie. I'm getting a no. Whose movie was this? Alex? It may have been yours.
Mine, I think. I think it was mine. Was it mine or was it yours, Alex?
You know what? I honestly don't remember. I think I mentioned it because, the 30th anniversary.
It's the 30th anniversary. That's right. 30 years. There you go. 1996. Cool. Well, it doesn't matter. Let's just say it was all our movies. I feel like most of us have seen this. Actually, quick raise of hands. Who has not seen it until they watched it for this show? Just out of curiosity. Chris and Arnold a little bit. Okay. Well, let's start with you, Chris. Return guest host, Chris. Welcome back to the show. What are your initial thoughts after having watched Trainspotting?
Oh, I have a hot take, and I'm really... Am I sorry? I don't know if I'm sorry. I didn't think this was a really good movie. Oops.
Wow.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. That's okay.
I think there's lots of good elements. I'm not saying it's a completely bad movie, but I was kind of over it, like halfway through. Ooh, fire me.
And it's only an hour and a half. How are you over it halfway through?
I know. I was like, I kind of get it, but it was very stylistic. There was enjoyable moments. Lot more poop than I thought there was going to be in this movie.
Yeah.
And
what was the moment? What was the moment where it lost you though? Like what scene was it? Do you remember?
I think, was it the second or third time we went back into meth? I think it was maybe the fourth time we jumped back into the meth scene.
It's H.
It's heroin.
It was H.
It's an H.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was going off my method, man. Yeah. It was honestly, it was just a depressing movie, like in a like artistic great way, and it was very raw and grungy, which is like obviously the style. And I just that hasn't been really the style that I like. So sorry. Great acting, solid elements, but I'm sorry. I'm really trying. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
No, it's good. This is good. It's good to have discourse, right? We don't all just want to be
1 verse 8.
Yeah, well, we'll see, right? We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's good to know. Let me ask you this. Can you, if you had been around old enough in 1996, could you have seen Ewan McGregor go on to play Obi-Wan Kenobi a few years later after this?
Let's see. At 3 years old, I think I probably saw the little glint in his eye, and I said, that man's going to do some great things. Well, as soon as I saw him jump into that toilet, I said, this man is going to do Star Wars.
That's a total Jedi move. It was Force toilet jumping. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Donald, as our special guest, one of two special guests tonight, Trainspotting. You've seen it before. What does it mean to you?
Yeah. I saw it actually earlier on, kind of near when it came out. It's kind of a for me, I grew up around not a bunch of junkies, but I've seen their behavior before, so it's kind of up my alley. It was just funny that they put it into like a video, like a movie form, but uh, addicts are addicts, whether no matter where you go, their mannerisms are still pretty much the same way, and they keep coming back to it for some reason. Kind of the way he was saying is, I like it. It's just funny that it's kind of up my alley. So it's just good movie, great cinematic shots at certain points, like the scene when he actually kind of ODs for a little bit and sinks into the like grave, kind of like that shot. I just really dug, but. At certain points, the shots were actually pretty good, but the story, I can kind of see where he was saying you're kind of over it after like the third or fourth time. Because when I was writing my notes, I was like, he's going back again for like a fourth time, man. This guy is just a glutton, pretty much. But I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
Having been around junkies, as you said, do any of them complain about capitalism and the current state of affairs in real life too, or is that just? In this movie,
I was around a bunch of meth heads, so yeah, you hear a bunch of rambling talk about politics, about just people in general, about the government. You hear a bunch of ramblings about like crazy men.
Conspiracies.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, some of those meth heads now hold office, so let's be careful what we say tonight, guys. A lot of failed podcasters on the current. Oh, so that may not bode well for us, but we'll see. Matt, I'll go to you next. Trainspotting. Tell us about. You've seen this before. What does it mean to you? Right off the bat?
I've seen it a couple times, but I realized before I hopped on that I haven't seen it recently. And I remember in high school watching it and really enjoying it. And then later on, and I think what I like about it is how methodical the drug use is. And when I first saw it in high school, I didn't drink, do drugs, anything. Then I took it upon myself to have a career as an alcoholic, which not a lot of upward mobility. I just celebrated 9 years of sobriety, and life is so much easier when you're not drunk all the time. But it like captures this debauchery and this messiness and this methodical knowing of I'm just gonna have to be sick, and you accept it, and you end up like surrounding yourself with kind of other crazy people. So I think for that it does a good job, and it just shows that people's like judgment is completely off, and then the judgment within the group is off. And then it captured this like nihilistic late 90s screw everything, what's the point of growing up and getting a job, And now I'm on LinkedIn too much. So did I betray my 90s self? I don't know.
I feel like we have come back on full circle on that sort of mentality of nihilism given the current state of the world. What do you think about that, Matt? Like, do you think we're sort of in a recursive loop in that sense, or am I overthinking that?
I could see that. I could see that people are really feeling like there's not really anywhere to go or access to things. But I also think that there's this weird twist of there's not really like anti-sellout culture the way there was in the 90s. Like I meet so many people that are like, oh man, we're going to monetize this podcast immediately. And it's like people are trying to sell out quick. They're trying to get down with Casper mattresses now.
Hey man, whatever pays the bills.
Right? So like, I don't know. Like in some ways we've lost some of that like DIY anti-mainstream, but because now there's so many different channels that there's not really a mainstream anymore. There's all these subcultures and like fragments of interests. So yeah.
Casper, if you're watching, hit us up. We'll also settle for HelloFresh. Just saying, just putting that out there. No, but yeah, I thank you for the perspective, by the way. I think that's great. Ewan McGregor's character, I mean, he's a bit of a fuck up to say the least. Who would you say, and I'm putting this out to the room, who is the most relatable character to you? And Arnold, I want to start with you on this question. Who would you say you related to the most, if any, at all?
Ewan.
When you watch Trainspotting.
Ewan.
Okay.
What was his name in the movie?
His name was Renton, wasn't it?
Josh?
Renton.
Oh, Renton.
Renton.
Just Josh and...
That's the US version.
Yeah.
Josh.
That's the guy in your private chat. Which, by the way, HLP says he finally has access to your private chat. Arnold.
I know. Hey, shout out to HLP for the subscription. I know. I marked it down 69% for about 4 minutes and
20 seconds.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, nice. For the next 67 days.
Hold on. You're charging HLP? That's messed up, dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
No. When it's with the 69% off, it's way cheaper. So
That's
So
way cheap. It's
so
practically
you owe him now?
no, I guarantee you, he'll get a lot of value
favor.
out of that chat. Okay. What was I saying?
but you said Renton. You relate to Renton the most, Arnold.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I
why
was just
is
thinking
that?
about it as we're talking about this right now. The first time I ever seen it, I only saw like the first 10 minutes, the part where he, starts fishing
goes-
around in the toilet bowl and the worst toilet in Scotland. Oh my gosh! And I remember Alex, you were watching it. I think it was with Christina, and I think even with you, Donald. I'm not sure, but I remember I was like. This was like before.
Now which Donald are you talking about?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, you have to clarify that there's
true.
3 Donalds that
Guzman.
are in our orbit.
Me? Oh yeah, maybe. I initially Christina actually Donald's wife introduced me to the movie, so we watched it while we were in high school.
Yeah,
There you
I was
go.
a kid. I was a kid back then, and it kind of traumatized me a little bit because I was like,
Right.
what the hell is this movie about? And I don't remember anything after that because I was just kind of like over it.
Right.
And that was pre-drugs in my life, and so this was the first time watching it post drugs. I don't do that. I don't do drugs anymore. By the way,
You're high on life.
yes.
They do me.
How has it been recontextualized for you now in this stage in your life?
So like I get how he was like, like, oh yeah, this is one more hit. Like it just like the junkie lifestyle, just the way that you would think. Like you brought up Donald. Man, how am I gonna differentiate the two? Donald. Okay, I'm gonna call
Donald and
You wonder-
Donnie.
Donnie, my cousin Donald, and Donald El Hijo de Quang.
No, your cousin Donnie.
the homie. Okay. Well,
No.
you brought up the part where it's like he practically died. I mean, I don't know if I actually did, but there was times where I felt like I was doing that, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, I need something to chill out my heart. Okay, what? Maybe some beer? I don't know. Maybe a bong rip. But then but it was mixed with like other stuff and stuff like that. And then when he wants to get his life back together and get better and do better, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna have like you just want to change his life. You see him going to work, but then he gets brought down by the people that he was around, and
He relapses.
relapse and So I relate a lot to that.
Gotcha. No, that's good to hear. Justin, what did you want to say?
Arnold, I have a question for you. For like being in that experience and environment, would you ever consider yourself in that moment in time like a junkie? Would you like be in those deplorable situations where you were in like places like that where it was just absolutely disgusting? Would you dig for some shit in a shitter?
I wouldn't go that far. But then I mean, there's been times where
Where's your line? Where was your line back then?
I remember being like in the hood, and I don't have to go like, I don't know, should I go into the?
You don't have to name names.
You don't have to.
No names, but then like what am I like
Don't snitch.
Healer.
using a light bulb?
Yeah.
Approach this from the emotional aspect. What kind of feelings did you go through in that? I'm serious. Like, what kind of feelings did you actually experience in that time of your life?
I guess
like,
Matt, you brought up the nihilistic. It just made me think of what was a movie that we did several months ago where that sort of thought was brought up, and that's kind of how it was in the 90s, where it was like this screw it, fuck it,
Doom
type
Generation. Doom Generation.
Oh yes, yeah. That whole during that era, there was a lot of that, and I kind of felt that was just like I didn't really think of so much about like the future. I didn't think about like it was just kind of like fuck it, and yeah, let's get faded, let's get high.
thanks for providing that insight there, Arnold. Donnie, let's go to you next. Donnie, host of the show, Donnie. what are your initial thoughts after having watched Trainspotting?
Well, so when I first watched it, I mean, I was really attracted to the movie because it felt relatable to me, right? I was younger, I was in high school. I kind of watched it during the time where I felt like I was rebellious, experimental, maybe not to that point, but definitely experimenting with things in my life, and kind of had that nihilistic attitude as well, trying to be rebellious and, you know, go against the grain. So it spoke to me in those ways. And then now watching it or revisiting it as an adult from a different perspective, you see it. I mean, I see it completely different, right? There's meaning behind this film. It wasn't just a movie about drugs and people, you know, being addicted. There's so much more to it. So it was, it's actually refreshing to come and revisit it and still enjoying it. Actually enjoying it more now that I'm an adult.
Did you ever have a group of toxic friends growing up, sort of like Renton does?
Yeah, 100%. I think I would relate most to Renton, actually, because there's been numerous times in my life where I had nothing but toxic friends, right? And you got to really learn to break away from that. Like, for me personally, I've broken away from 2 groups that I can think of off the top of my head where I really had to like separate myself and realize that I'm not in that place anymore, even though they were still in the same place that I was in with them when we were younger. You know, that comes with maturity and growing, and that's really, I think, what this story is about in a nutshell. It's more of like a coming of age story.
Definitely. Alex, so I think both of us love the 90s, especially that era of filmmaking. Doom Generation, we've also done Groove. Is this one of your top 90s movies, Alex? Or
it's one of my top all-time movies.
Tell us why.
I think it has a lot to do with, I think you had mentioned this earlier in like one of our chats on our Discord, but you said how raw it is. You don't see films made like this anymore, you know, where like they kind of like are kind of in your face, kind of gritty, you know, they don't pull any punches. It's hard to find stuff that like really discusses things in the way that, they don't shy away from the subject matter. It's like, you know, they a lot of times like films like that would be similar to this kind of pull their punches, and they don't really show the full impact of like, I think the last movie that had been something like this was Requiem for a Dream, and that was like crazier to me than Trainspotting. And I think Trainspotting, as far as like drug culture and like the how far people will go, was like a beginning in the 90s at least. But for me, that one, and then I also really like the aesthetic of the film. It reminded me of like old 90s music videos, you know. I feel like a lot of that has gone away, you know, the experimental side of things. I mean, you do see some people doing stuff, but they do things not so much out of trying to carry the story, but more to like kind of just, whoa, that's crazy. Like I love Tim and Eric. I love like that style, that sort of like, you know,
that lo-fi style.
That lo-fi, not even that lo-fi, but just kind of like, how would you classify that? They're kind of random, you know, and that's I love that like randomness, but it's different. It's way different than like how what seems like very random, like Donald had mentioned the scene where he like ODs and then he's sinking into the carpet. Mm-hmm. That was like very artfully done because it's like it's supposed to show like symbolize the how low he got in that point, and then also like the whole over exaggeration of Renton going into the toilet. That is like very like how far people in like who are addicts will go, you know, the desperation. Just he's trying to get off drugs, but he's at the same time he's like he understands that he needs that last hit of heroin, you know, and there's suppositories, you know, like that fell out of his ass into a toilet. And like it's funny, like I think about it now. That used to be the worst toilet scene I've ever seen until Mystery Team with Donald Glover. That was really gross. But yeah, that like to me, that's like there's so many different reasons why I love this film. Like they like again, yeah, they don't really pull punches. They just go for it in this film.
I agree. I like that they don't glorify movies like this, and Requiem for a Dream don't glorify drug use or addiction. If anything, it does the exact opposite of that. You know, fuck dare. They should have had these movies playing in school. Donnie, you had some thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Alex was talking a lot about this, the setting and the time frame, and I thought it was a pretty cool approach that Danny Boyle and John Hodges took, because this is an adaptation of a novel that was actually based in the 80s, in the late 80s, right? And so they decided to modernize it for cinema and make it 90s, and they were really capitalizing on the youth culture during that time, right? This is the same time where London became what it is today. Like everybody loves it for its culture, the fashion sense they have, the music. Like this was around the same time that Oasis became popular and Spice Girls hit the scene, and so like they really capitalized on that, and they did that. They filmed this in like 7 months, and so they were like in the middle of that, and they made the decision to really aim it towards that audience. And I think they made an amazing choice by doing that, because it would have been a completely different film, and I don't think it would have translated as well as the novel if it stuck to it, the novel's actual time frame, the 80s.
Interesting. Yeah, I did not know that. Matt, you had some thoughts.
Oh yeah, I think this film has my favorite baby crawling on a ceiling scene out of all of the filmmakers. You know, it's like, yeah, Spielberg can do it, Scorsese. They all have their own takes on a baby crawling on a ceiling.
Yeah.
But in reality, I don't know if I've actually ever seen a baby crawling on a ceiling on another
You
film.
haven't taken enough stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be on some stuff to see that.
And yeah, like such an interesting approach, because it was like practical, you could even see kind of the cracks in the ceiling as they were like pulling the effect, and just that low budget kind of aspect that made it feel more raw. Because when I think about Requiem of a Dream, even that was like actually pretty big budget considering like the scope and style. But yeah, there was something about the indie approach to it that even like served the story, which I thought is fascinating.
Nice. Alex, jump to you next, and then Donald.
So I was just going to mention, HLP says Enter the Void is a pretty fucked up movie too. Plus,
I've not heard
visuals.
of that one.
Oh, that one's great.
I'll have to add that to my... Is that from the 90s as well?
No, that was later. And Enter the Void, I feel like, is the closest to a psychedelic experience I've seen on screen, personally, if people have seen it.
Looks like it's like a foreign film. Interesting. Oh, it's already on my watch list. Nice. Hold on, the fire department wants to say something. Okay, they're good. Donald, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted this rewatch. When I rewatched it, I didn't know that the baby was Sick Boys. I really found that out during this rewatch, and it kind of blew my mind. I just thought that was pretty crazy. Sorry.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up, because I wanted to ask you. I love that. That's my favorite sequence from the whole movie, by the way. That entire sequence where Renton is seeing the baby, and then he's seeing all flashes of other people and shit.
Yeah.
What's the most fucked up sequence from this movie for you, Donald?
For me, the most fucked up one was when he kind of let Spud just go to jail. I thought that was that's supposed to be his boy, right? Like, and they're supposed to be like cool with each other. And then all of a sudden he's like, you know what? You got this. Yeah. And then he lets him sit in there and doesn't visit him, doesn't do any of that stuff. I just thought that was pretty jacked. But as far as like grossness, was the suppository scene, because I've actually been to strip clubs that are pretty much that dirty of a bathroom. So I was like, that's something I would never do. But I have some friends that probably would do that.
Why do strip clubs, places like that, always have the worst bathrooms? Like, what is it about that venue?
I'm just thinking is that no one wants to go in there because like they have no janitor, so they're just, you know what, just do whatever you want in there,
And they always have the black and white checkered linoleum floor. Have you noticed that? Always the black and white.
And I always noticed that like 3 of the stalls or 2 of the stalls all have the door off for some reason.
I've heard that the reason why there's gaps in bathroom stalls is so that people can peek in on someone to see if they're shooting up. By the way, speaking of heroin, has Has anyone else heard
Oh,
that theory?
I could really see that because like I've done substances off the backs in the toilets over there before. So yeah, I'm
Well,
pretty
there you
sure
go.
that they'll check.
Donnie, I think you had a question.
You were talking about the scenes that like was most disturbing, and like initially it was like the toilet scene for me, and then just like visually seeing them shoot up, but then you get to that baby scene and you're like, oh, for me because I have a kid, right? And it's like I made it through it, but it was kind of rough. Yeah,
I'm
so,
glad you bring that
yeah.
up because now I'm wondering. Obviously neglect, but what specifically killed the baby? Was it like just lack of food and lack of whatever?
Yeah,
like
I don't think they took care of it.
I have a theory on that one.
Let's
real
hear it.
quick. Okay, so if you watch the beginning of the movie, there's a couple of scenes like you see the baby rolling, right? And then also Ewan McGregor's character, he like rolls around. But if you look at their floor is covered in just bullshit, in like glass. I'm sure there's syringe needles everywhere. And what's to say that that baby didn't roll and then rolled over a few syringes and poked itself?
I never thought about that.
And then they didn't catch it. They didn't notice it because maybe the syringe fell out, or they just put the baby to bed, and then the baby just fucking overdosed and died. Because you could also see the baby has like a little bit of like white kind of like vomit almost on their mouth as well. So I think something along the line, they were alluding to the baby probably overdosing.
Let me ask you this, Justin. What do you think the baby crawling on the ceiling represents?
Oh, it's kind of hard to see the representation of that because it's so janky looking. I give them the credit for managing to do something like that, but I think maybe it was, and this is just off the top of my head in the moment, but I think it's he sees himself probably realizing that life is precious type of thing. And he sees himself in the baby, which is what sparks him to even want to change to begin with.
Interesting. I
Maybe
like that theory.
witnessing the baby death really changed things, because he even says, I forget who he was talking about. I forget which character. I think it was Sick Boy. I think that he was talking about. But he's like, after that day, like everything changed, and he was never the same again. And I feel like I feel like he's more or less also alluding that like he himself changed, but didn't want to admit that as the narrator.
Right. Chris, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I think it's I think that's a great take. I think why I think that scene is so interesting is because they don't straight up tell you how he's processing all of it and how it affects him. You just visually see him going through it, right? And I think at least my interpretation of that is a lot of times when you're going through life and you have like these really difficult moments and you're not talking to someone about it, you'll have like these deep rooted feelings that sometimes you hit like a speed bump on, right? And so you don't necessarily address it. It just kind of like gets added to the addict of those like really tough feelings. And so we quite literally see this moment where everything's unraveling for him. And so it's kind of like opening up Pandora's box as far as like all the things that he hasn't addressed, right? Everything from the innocence of a baby, or just seeing a baby in the apartment and like just being like, oh, it's okay that this environment is totally okay for a baby to be in. And then you go through all like how he views his friends. I say friends loosely, but his crew, and the different representations and those feelings that he doesn't necessarily communicate in the movie, but clearly we, the audience, see it, and he clearly is going through it. And it's kind of like not processed. It's just like a really raw, literally a throw up in this room of all these things he hasn't addressed, or like these really heavy, very difficult topics to address. So I just thought it was a really interesting scene.
I like that. That's an interesting take on that. Matt, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I really enjoyed Spud's interview.
It's the 30-minute mark, so don't be distracted by this. Arnold has to do a hip shaking, a doctor prescription. So go ahead.
Oh,
Matt,
okay.
while you do
I
that.
totally understood. We respect it. The scene where Spud's doing the interview and he's like completely all over the place. I really enjoy that because I think part of it is that these, addicts have to live in regular society, and that's where the comedy is, and that's where the truth is that they're not part of this like secret world. They're in this like world that mixes in with the regular world and has to like interact. And he's just like totally all over the place. And it reminds me of when I was kind of in my addiction and just getting this look of confusion from people of like, what is wrong with you? And you think you're making sense. You think you're showing up. You think you're being affable and funny. But the look on people's faces is like, oh my God, something's wrong with this man. And in that scene, it's really captured with Spud. So appreciate that scene.
What's it called when you're not addicted to anything, but you're still a fuck up? Is there a German word for that? Because I feel like the Germans have a word for everything.
They probably do. Yeah.
We'll have to have our research department look into that.
What that scene reminds me of, it reminds me of my dad a little bit because you can kind of tell, as far as my dad is concerned, you can kind of tell when he's been on speed or he's been doing speed is because he acts just like that, just like Spud acted in that interview, and it was all really quick, and you can tell that he's like trying to think of a million things all at once to say to you, and he tries to deliver it to you all at once, and it's like, oh my God, like you're so intense for me, like chill the fuck out. But my dad was an addict, and he definitely and I could see that being like a really real thing that they tapped into there because I've experienced that with my own father. It's crazy.
Yeah. Is that called being in a manic state? Is that just called being manic? I don't know if that just pertains to like mental health issues or not, but is that similar along the same lines, you think, Justin?
I don't want to assume, but I will. So probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't want to assume because doing that makes an ass out of you and me.
yeah. Speaking of ass, Arnold, have you seen
Ass to ass.
Requiem for a Dream? I was just gonna say that.
I have.
Have you seen it?
I have, but you know what? I don't remember it. So
You don't remember ass to ass?
I've
No.
actually only seen that scene. I don't know what that says about me, but
It's a great movie, regardless.
it did come up
of that
as
scene.
a suggested when I was searching Trainspotting. Yeah, I had to watch that again. It's been about 25 years or so.
Back when Jared Leto was, locked in as an actor, not a fucking weirdo. You know what I mean?
He made one good movie.
No, don't forget Lord of War with Nick Cage. He was the brother.
Oh,
And he was great in Dallas Buyers Club. Did you see him in Dallas Buyers Club?
I did not see that movie yet.
Matthew McConaughey. Sean Connery.
American Psycho.
Sean
I'm saying
McConaughey.
Sean Connery because the guy is addicted to the Bond movies in this. The one guy, I forget his name.
Sick boy.
Yeah, he loves the James Bond movies. HLP in the chat says to answer my question about not being addicted but being a fuck up, klutz. I like that. That's a good one, HLP. HLP always coming in with the assists, and he was saying earlier, I got to read his comment. What he said: if you're in the bathroom at a strip club, you're not spending money at the club. That's a good point. So, all right, yeah, let's move on to the next thing. Arnold, I feel like I haven't heard from you in a while. What was the funniest moment in this movie? Because there's a lot of funny. This isn't just a straight drama, drug, crime. It's a bit of a caper as well, but it's also a comedy in some ways. Comedy of errors, especially. What was your favorite comedic moment? I know you got to have a favorite comedic moment, Arnold.
It's kind of gross also, but the part where the shit in the sheets, and then how he flung it at the family. I was eating dinner at that time. I was actually eating dinner.
Hold on.
From the
Paint
start.
a picture. What were you eating?
Chili.
This is important stuff.
I think I was eating
by the
ice
way,
cream.
Matt and
Ice
Donald.
cream.
Ice cream.
Yeah.
Rocky Road.
No, I think this one was mint and chip. Yeah, mint and chip. Yeah.
Min Chimp Man.
Well, at least your breath smelled nice after.
I did a lot of like oh man, but then kind of like peeking, like I don't know. That's how I get. Like,
gross.
even with the shooting up, man, that was like, oh gosh, I don't like it. But
Arnold, when you're watching movies, what's your setup like? Do you watch it on your living room TV? Do you watch it on your phone, on your laptop? What's your setup like?
this one I had to watch on my phone. because for whatever
Same.
reason I was struggling. It wouldn't cast to the TV, and so I was just I'm like, okay, I'll set it up right here while I eat. And
do you watch with Carla or just mostly by yourself?
this was just by myself.
These are the burning questions I have to ask. I'm always picturing what your day-to-day is like.
I know that she would not want to watch it, so I let her do her crafting, making some Mickey Mouse cards, or I don't know, whatever that she does. But I mean, I know what she does, but I'm not sure what kind of card she was making at that time. But
Gotcha.
some sort of crafting.
You want a real life hack? Listening to movies. No visual, just audio while driving. It's awesome. You only get like half the meaning.
Yeah. I was doing that today because I was like in a hurry to get through it again, and I was like, I went to go get something to eat. So I literally had it playing through my car speakers, and I'm driving, and I'm listening to. And I kind of get what's going on, but you're right though, because like movies are a visual medium. But like I noticed with this movie, it's very also sound forward too. Like the sound design is great. Like
you're like, I'm
you really
watching
feel like
Trainspotting the podcast.
Have you ever tried watching a movie with the sound off while driving? It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
That's called immersive movie watching.
One of the people in my private chat that they're saying, how about watching a pee movie while driving, and then you just but then they had the really loud. I don't know. Chat's
Our the
loud.
commute's about 2 minutes.
Arnold's his private chat is actually his delusion.
What?
No. It's a real chat, right, Arnold?
Subscription. That's what
It better be real. I'm paying $10 a month for it.
It's his alternate identity or his split personalities.
Whatever.
Yeah.
No.
Arnold, what's your superhero name if you had one?
Buttman.
Actually, what's your stripper name? Is the
That's a
last
quick
street
answer.
you lived on plus your first dog's name?
Chuparosa Sydney.
The street you lived on, the street you grew up on, plus your first dog's name.
Hey man, now people they're gonna start looking us up and figure out.
Getting doxxed.
Right. They're going to build a case against you.
Mine would be Rocky Montevista.
Whoa.
Rocky Montevista. That's a great.
That does sound
pretty
like
good.
it already.
It's good,
It
right?
also sounds like a pretty good ice cream or something.
Yeah.
Ice cream.
Mine would be Lolo. So it's got like a
Lolo.
lot of Mexican Chicano in there, Get back to my roots.
I thought it was a yodeling thing. Like,
That's the white side of me. So it's kind of that mixture, that 50-50 blend.
Nice. All right, guys. Any other thoughts before we start to wrap her up here? Chris, do you have anything? I feel like I go to you because you say it lost you. What did you think of the ending, though? Because he does go through a character arc. In the beginning, he's bitching about, like people want to have the white picket fence and the bank account and the this and then that, and he's like talking shit. And then in the end, it's the exact opposite. I mean, what did you think about that arc that he went through?
I mean, it was an interesting arc because I mean, you see him achieve that right in the middle of it when he is doing the whole.
But what do you think he's trying to say, though? Is he saying it's either a yuppie lifestyle or be a junkie? Is that that's how I interpret it? How say you?
I think he's completely off his rocker on both ends. Because I mean, he at no point does he execute either lifestyle well, whether it be sober or not sober, whether he's being loyal or not loyal. Like the most loyal thing he did was leave Spud some money, and I don't even know how they figured out how he got like a safety deposit box with the cash. And
I love that shot though, with through
it
the
is a
locker.
good shot.
Yeah.
He's deplorable throughout the whole thing, just
Deplorable.
various forms.
Donnie, you had some thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I felt like Renton was good. Like he got away from it, right in the middle there. But then his friends fucking came back to him, and like he didn't want that. They just came back. But when you're talking about the meeting, when he was in the very beginning, when he's talking about life, and all that stuff, it's I think that's part of the whole nihilistic attitude, right? Like he's trying to say he doesn't want to be like a part of that because he's rebelling, right? So he's trying to justify what he does as a drug addict, as a rebel in a sense. But then in the end, he comes full circle, and then that's really that's really the ultimate goal for him in the end, right? Like he wants that now, like that's his choice. That's why he runs away with the money. But in the very beginning, when he's talking about it and he's trashing it, I think he's just trying to justify his lifestyle and what he's currently into at that time.
I read this book called Pimp, which surprisingly is about a guy who is a pimp. And in the end of the book, he gives it all up. He's like, you know what? Fuck all that. I'll take the white picket fence. I'll take the house in the suburbs. I'll take the stable 9-to-5 office job, because that pimp life, that ain't for me anymore. It's bullshit, you know? And I kind of felt that with Renton. Like, he realized that in the end. He's like, nah, fuck all that. I'll go be a boring adult. Alex, you had something?
No, I was just gonna agree with Donald, but like also add on to it, like the it's kind of bookended, you know, with the same speech, right? Like the whole justification of him continuing to be a drug addict and everything like that is like, he's like, why would I want that when I have heroin that can like just be everything for me? But then he realizes that at the very end, you know, he's like, this is what I want. Like I'm gonna go for the white picket fence, the house, like that, because you know it's, while it's like kind of the ordinary life, or the quote unquote ordinary life, it's the life that like kind of symbolizes like moving on from these like sort of childish things, you know, these things that kind of tie you down to like being a drug addict, you know, like these things that, you know, you make excuses as addicts. I don't really have that, you know, like experience per se, but I have like addictions were like kind of destructive, you know, like, you know, spending habits, you know, they're addictions in a different way, you know,
Right.
you know, and they kind of like they satiate this sort of desire to like that what's the chemical, dopamine, you know,
Right.
chasing the dopamine sort of aspect, and it like you buy that thing and it's like, oh cool, I have it, but then you're like, well, no, it's not like, once you have it, like you're just trying to chase another thing.
It's like empty again. You got to fill that hole again.
A big
You gotta
gaping
fill a hole.
hole.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I wanted to leave dead air for Arnold because he said that,
No, I just realized what I said, and it could have been taken the wrong way.
and it did. It got taken the wrong way.
It went wrong.
So don't worry, you got it. You made it happen, Arnold.
Good
work.
Not physically, metaphorically.
Well, we're talking about Trainspotting. We're talking about drug abuse. I'm curious, like, is there a movie out there that's like, because prescription drugs are famously abused in this country as well. Has there ever been a movie about the abuse of prescription drugs? Like, I feel like there has to be something out there.
Drugstore Cowboy.
Drugstore Cow.
Gus Van Sant. It's really good. Also, if I'm not mistaken, like late 90s. But it's I forget his name, but they basically rob pharmacies and similar, just this like debaucherous crew who are all kind of like fighting each other, and yeah, I think like even in the chat there's a question about like the underage girl, and it's it's like there's inappropriate behavior all around and there's no thinking, and I think that's what this like film gets at, which is like that very like animal state of just survival and no planning and just thinking for the next thing, and like waking up and being like, oh, she's going to high school, and just surprises and a chaotic unplanned life.
Yeah, it's kind of like that whole thing where like you know, he's trying to get out of that, and he's just like is not thinking straight, and he's, you know, just chasing after like replacing addictions, right? You know, he's chasing after a way to get like dopamine rush, you know. So like the idea of, you know, hooking up with a girl again, it's just kind of chasing that sort of rush of like something that, you know, heroin probably brought him, you know. And it's all like, that's what they say, you know, a lot of addicts will trade addictions.
Squirrel trying to get their nut.
You guys ever see that episode of The Simpsons where Moe goes in, Barney gets over his beer alcohol addiction, and then the episode ends with him at a park drinking coffee, and he goes and buys another coffee from Moe, who's now opened a coffee cart. And I was like, You ain't getting away from me.
Yeah.
You ain't getting away from me.
So good.
I love that episode. What's that movie with Johnny Depp where he's like a drug dealer or like a drug trafficker? And I think Penelope Cruz was in it. What was that called?
Low.
Oh yeah, that
Low.
was a great movie.
Love that movie. Some
Yeah.
of the best movies I like are
I love
revolving around
Baby
drugs.
Cry.
Riser.
You know what another good like 90s drug movie is a film called Permanent Midnight. It's
Ooh,
That sounds vaguely
yeah.
familiar.
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller.
Ben
It's-
Stiller
it's-
of all people.
Yeah, it's loosely based on the story of the guy who created Alf, or like was a writer for Alf.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like you had to have been on drugs to come up with the idea for Alf.
absolutely. And that it's basically a autobiography. I don't want to say autobiography, like a biographical story loosely based on that guy. It's a great film. It's I don't want to say it's like the one of the best. I would recommend watching it. It's a good watch, but like it's kind of shows the same thing of like the struggles of an addict, you know, like
Yeah.
him trying to like, I don't know, clean up, but then like Matt mentioned, he gets kind of stuck in the circle of like meeting bad people and keeping that same company around, you know, and they're just never, they don't let you get out of it until you choose to leave. So
Right. I think one of the scariest things about addiction for me, from what I've read, is that you can't just go cold turkey on certain drugs like heroin, I think, right? Because it could literally kill you. That's nuts.
Well, I the withdrawal
did not know
process
that.
sucks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like, no. I'm bringing it up because I just find that fascinating. That like just the withdrawal. Yeah. Like if you don't do it right, you could literally fucking die.
Right.
Your body like spasms, like it feels like your whole body is like in pain, it's really bad. And so for them, it's like to get away from that, they're looking for that hit to get. That's a hard.
That's how
I
you
know
went to the
somebody close to
methadone
me
clinic.
said. Yeah. The methadone's supposed to kind of replicate that, but it's a controlled substance, right?
And Donald, sorry, you wanted to say something earlier, I believe.
I'm just saying that I think Renton's kind of a crappy friend. I mean, didn't he technically kill Tommy, like by giving him his first dose, and then after that, just coming back and being like, "Oh, hey, bud, you want some more?"
well, I think
And then-
he was trying to be a good friend though. Like he was listening to Tommy. He's like, oh, I could find out on my own. I'm an adult, you know, and like, you know, he's in the when he's asking him, he was in the throes of a heroin high, you know. So
Well,
like,
also
and then
he kind of caused it by taking the tape, and then
yeah,
he was
I mean, how would he know that it was going to go that far though? That's the thing, you know. That's the unfortunate side.
I think
Like,
that just comes down to
drug addicts.
and
Drug addicts like steal, you know.
They don't exactly err on the side of
they'll
caution.
get like steal stuff to get like money, or it's
Oh, I
part
know.
of
I
the
have
whole
cousins
like
that
thing.
done it to me.
Yeah, and so like, and so you know, it's you can't really. We could trace so many lines to certain things and blame it on people.
Oh,
but
yeah.
at the end of the day, it was Tommy's choice to start taking drugs.
That,
Chris,
not
you
just
wanted
like
to say
how
something?
Comfort's,
Oh.
what's her name? Sorry, Comfort's
No, you're good. Go
after
ahead.
After Dawn loses her baby, he fixes her another fix just to like
Yeah.
ease the pain, I guess.
I thought that was so funny. She's like, "Oh, this is terrible. Give me a hit. I need a hit."
Well, here's the
Fixers
crazy
first.
thing. The crazy thing, like addicts will do that. Like I remember, like this girl that I used to work with. We used to hang out all the time. I'm not gonna like say any names, but like I was over at her house with like a bunch of other friends, and she got a phone call like it was like really bad news. But she was like a really bad alcoholic, and like she got a phone call, and immediately her instinct was to just get more alcohol. She's just like, I need a drink, and like she was like open up the vodka bottles. It's like I was like, damn, dude, that's like the like true addiction. That's like really like how you respond to like traumatic instances, and it's like. I as a friend, I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm just like seeing seeing this happen in real life, and I'm like, how do I like? Because you can't tell them what to do. They have to hit rock bottom.
The more you tell them, the more they're going to want to do it. Probably it's that weird
Yeah.
psychological effect. Chris,
Well,
you wanted to say something?
I heard a quote just to add on about how like addicts are not afraid of dying; they're actually afraid of living. And things that are really challenging and feelings and hard conversations and the difficulties of life are actually what they run away from. You know?
Yeah, that was the thing too. Like I remember I had to like there was a moment where I had to break off our friendship, and she like just turned on me. Like she kind of just like made me like look like a bad person. And I was just like, what the, like, I'm just trying to, like, I cut off our friendship. And, you know, she, at every moment, she tried to make me, like, kind of, she would, like, show up in places and be like, oh, look at me, I'm with, like, other new people. I don't have to be hanging out with you. But at the same time, she like, wanted to desperately still hang out with me as a friend. And I was just like, you're not dealing with this, and I can't be the person that, like, enables you anymore. I can't be driving
Yeah.
you to bars and be like taking you, like have drinks. You know, I can't be that person. You know, like when you're drunk. There were so many nights where I'd like have to carry her out of my car. There was like a moment when there's one time like I carried her out of her car and like she threw up over my shoulder and onto the side rack right in front of her house. I'm like, this is getting ridiculous.
Wow. Chris, and then Donnie after that. You wanted to say something, Chris?
Yeah, I just kind of like tying back, like as far as like being a good friend or not, bringing it back to Tommy's death. I think that's what I kind of struggle with as far as the story arc of the movie is. There's like this romanticized version of the movie that I just personally don't have. I've struggled with addiction. I'm sober as well, and so while very different, right? I think that the core principle that I struggle with this movie is like talking about our main character. Was he a good friend or not? And I think it comes down to like intentionality versus actual reality, right? You can intend to do your best as a friend, whether it be like a drug addict situation or just in general. But if those intentions and those actions lead towards someone's death because you're pushing you didn't stab him, but you handed the knife, right? That doesn't make me a good friend because I was helping you during a tough time, right? That's still a good friend, right? Would take the knife away or not participate in that, right? But he was so broken himself that he didn't have the tools or resources to do it. He was trying to save himself. So he may be well intentioned, but like he wasn't good. he and throughout the whole movie, it's kind of sad because you just see him struggling so much with what do I want? How do I get it? Whether it be the lifestyle or whether it be the drugs, right? I want to live a good intention life. I want to be a better person. I want to X, Y, and Z, right? But he keeps tripping over himself. And that's the tough thing with addiction. That's the tough thing with that lifestyle is that you're not surrounded by people that are trying to help you, right? I think even with Sick Boy, he was like, I'm going to get clean just to spite you. And then they immediately jump right back into that lifestyle. So like, was he a good friend or was he just like showboating the fact that he can get clean, right? He wasn't, it doesn't matter what his intentions were. It matters about the actions of the movie. And I think that's kind of the tough thing that I struggle with the main character. I just never found him to be the hero of the movie. I found him to be, unfortunately, the victim of the drug addiction. And we end the movie with him running off with a bag and all that kind of stuff. And you're left to assume, but like, who's to say that if we played the movie 15 minutes later, he's not just immediately back in that lifestyle, right? And I guess that's the point, right? Of like, you can think whatever you want. They showed an hour and a half of that trajectory. Sadly, that's typically the trajectory a lot of people live. And it doesn't end with a nice, clean title screen, right? And a bunch of money in a bag.
Not usually.
It's funny that you mentioned that because like I thought of that too, because I immediately thought like this entire time I just thought of my dad because I see the similarities of what my dad has done with these characters, what they have done and everything, and it's funny because my dad always built empty promises for everybody, his own parents, me and my brother, his ex-wife, his girlfriend, whoever he was in life with. He was never like fully honest or dedicated to wanting to get sober. So he would always be like, oh, I'm going to church now, so God's going to help me. But God couldn't help him quick enough, so he went back, or family was going to help him. Friends were going to, like, he went for help, but didn't really want it. It was more of like you said, it was like a showboat thing. Like, oh, look at me, I'm getting better. For this moment in time, I hope you're proud of me. And it's like a validation thing, and like, not to share too much personal information, but the craziest thing is, when my dad passed away, it was in an accident, running from the police, of all things. I had the unfortunate thing of having to claim his body and everything. My grandparents were the ones keeping an eye on his like toxicology report. And when we got it back, the craziest thing is, like, for the first time in his life, even through like the police chase and leading up to his death, that whole last portion of his life, he was sober. And that was the craziest part of it all. So it's like, I see what you're talking about. When you're trying to, showboat your wellness, I guess it's a sticky situation. It's a slippery slope, and you shouldn't be doing it for other people's approval. You should be doing it for yourself. And I think they tried to portray that in this movie, but I can see what Chris is talking about, and it just being like not a very realistic way of doing it, I guess.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. I hope this movie wasn't too triggering for anybody, by the way. I feel like, hearing all these stories tonight, I feel almost kind of bad. Like, have we triggered something in some way from having watched this? But still great insight. So I appreciate that, Justin.
Yeah, I appreciate the openness too. And yeah it's refreshing. So thank you, everyone, for being that open.
Yeah, absolutely. Donnie, I feel like you had something to say at some point. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was gonna go back to the whole Tommy thing. My take on it when I was watching it, it was just like I took it in completely differently. Like, he went to go visit his friend sober, right? For the first time in a long time. Instead of congratulating him and being happy for him, Tommy's like, "Do you have any drugs?" You know what I mean? Renton's a person who's he's a victim of his environment, right? Like, he grew up, his mom's an addict. The way that he is, the way that he processes everything, it's the way he is because that's the way he grew up. That's the only thing he knew. That's the only environment that he was around. And so the whole time, I think he realizes throughout the movie that these people that he considers his so-called friends aren't really his friends. They're people that are there that are holding him back, that are toxic. You have Begbie, who's super unpredictable. He's not even on drugs. He doesn't do heroin. He drinks, and he loves violence, and he just like gets crazy. He's unpredictable, right? He likes Sick Boy. Sick Boy is that friend that we're like, not Sick Boy, I'm sorry, Spud, where he can do no wrong, right? So, and that's why in the end he kind of gives him that money. Sick Boy, he says that he never trusts him in the very beginning, right? He said, if I don't do this, Sick Boy would have done it if he thought of it first, right? So he doesn't really trust these people, and it's for him, it's just like he wants to get away. And so I completely understand where everybody's coming from, but when I watched the movie and I saw it, I got from it that, like, he does have good intentions, and yeah, he's a shit person, or he can be seen as a shit person, but that's how he grew up, and that's the environment that he came from. And then when you compare it to how the book is actually written, there was a lot of artistic choices that went in from the director, where he specifically put that life scene in the beginning of the movie. You know how it starts off and he's talking about life. That in the book, that's not there. That's in the middle of the story. The book, in comparison to the film, is more for multiple narrations, right? You get to learn about each character a lot more in each of the chapters, and they put that life scene in the middle. It was in the middle, but he decided to put it in the beginning and then again put it in the end, kind of like Alex's point, to kind of bookend that story and be more cohesive and tell a more telling tale in cinema. And so knowing that, if I didn't know that, maybe I wouldn't see it this way, but knowing that as well, I think that that was the intention of the director. And what does he do at the end when he takes the money? We don't know, right? But in my head, it's like, or when I watched it for the first time, I felt happy for him. That's how, like, I was like, yeah, he did it. Like, he's away. He got away. Like, you know, even though he screwed his friends or his so-called friends, but I know that I was like rooting for him at that point. So it's just a different take from what everybody, some other people saw, but that's just how I took it.
No, that's great. Thank you for providing that. I had no idea before tonight that it was based on a book, by the way. So I might have to add that to my to read pile. Well, that's the movie. That's Train. I keep wanting to say Train Dreams. God damn it! Go ahead, Alex. Sorry, Trainspotting.
I had like something to add on to that. Like, so like to add on to what Donald said. This whole conversation kind of reminded me of this lyric from this band. Why? It's the song called "Sod in the Seed," and there's a lyric that goes, "Good and evil's often neither faith, strength or flaw, but sod in the seed of what you are." So, in a sense, like those lyrics kind of encapsulate what the struggle that Renton is going through. We are both good and evil. We have these struggles, and this whole time, through the whole movie, he's struggling within himself to like find a better path. But like it's this internal struggle that, you know, you're fighting against. You know, you have these addictions, but you want to get out of that because he's constantly like trying to get out of it. He's like, how many times does he try to like quit drugs, right? So it's just this, like, how do you find the way out? And sometimes you have to do bad things to people that are less favorable to get out of the, like what Donald said. Like, it's I was rooting for him because he was like, he knew all these people other than Spud were bad people, you know. And in order for him to get away, like even Diane, the underage girl, he had to leave. Like she knew he had to leave, and she even said, like, encouraged him to leave. Like, you need to go out and to see the bigger world, right? And so, but like she even her kind of like blackmailed him to like continue dating her, right? He's like, if you don't see me again, I'm gonna tell the cops. And he's like, what can I do? I have to keep seeing her, you know? And she even finds him after he's clean, and like after he gets tested for AIDS, because like, remember, this is a big part of the movie too. It doesn't like get spoken about, is they're going through an epidemic, the AIDS epidemic. There's a lot of the big topic in this whole movie. One of the big like underlying topics is the AIDS HIV epidemic, and he even talks about it. Like, that's why Diane asks, "Are you clean?" He's like, not just like off of drugs, but are you HIV like negative? And even like when he goes to see Tommy in that, and when he's like, you know, he's finally clean again. Tommy's not asking if he's for drugs at all. He's like, "Are you clean?" As in, are you negative? Are you because all their friends have, like, you know, probably like have gotten tested, you know, they're all worried. And he's like, and he even says something too. Like when Tommy says, like, I could tell there's something inside me. Tommy's saying that. He's like, it's in me. I got it in me. And he's talking about like some sort of sexually transmitted disease, or like from like a needle or whatever. And, you know, like that's the whole thing. It's like he's seeing these things, and like he sees Tommy gives him the money for drugs because he sees himself in Tommy and like the struggle that he had to go through. Like for me, whenever when I like people are asking for money, like on the side of the road, like if I have money, I will like probably give them a little, and I don't care what they're going to use it on, because like whether they use it for drugs or food, they still need, like, if you're an addict, you still need drugs. Like a heroin addict, if they don't have it, they're gonna die. If they come down off of like heroin, they could like go through these, you know, addiction throes, and it's just they could kill them. It could kill them, you know. So like, who am I to judge if he goes and buys drugs with my money? You know, and like that, if that buys him another day to live, then I'll do what I think I have to do. If he's actually going to use it for food, great. That's great too. But that's beyond my control. And like, you know, it's maybe I'm being a bad person by giving him money for drugs, but that's not me, not on anybody else to judge but me, you know? So, like, again, you know, good or evil is neither strength or flaw, but side in the seed of what you are.
I completely forgot about the whole HIV subplot. I remember that sequence where they're defining it or they're singing about it on TV or something. Or
Well,
what
there's
was it?
even like on like outside of their apartment, it says like plague, or it said something about AIDS on the front door.
Tommy's
Yeah.
apartment.
Yeah, so it said
AIDS maybe or have AIDS.
Probably probably that whole group, because they all like shared needles at like Mother Superiors.
They got a point. They said that Tommy had it. That's why they were graffitiing all that on his apartment.
Yeah.
He died
Yeah.
from something else though. He died from getting
Oh no,
that infection.
Toxoplasmosis.
definitely.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that was a thing you get from cats.
It is.
It is.
Oh,
Because remember,
Cat
he,
shit.
he bought that kitten to give to
Oh,
his
yeah, yeah.
ex-girlfriend, and like
Yeah.
the cat just shit everywhere. And
oh yeah.
obviously, because
Yeah.
he probably had HIV, so he had a compromised immune system, and like having a cat shit all over the place, and like him breathing in all the that.
He probably ate it. He probably probably tried to snort it.
Absolutely, or maybe even like
Yeah.
got into like one of his needles.
are
Yeah.
cat owners aware of this? Should we be putting out an alert about
Yeah.
toxic plasmosis?
I wonder who the
I was
cat
thinking-
actor was.
Yeah. I was thinking of a funny scene because somebody asked that earlier, and I just thought of one that I really liked, and it was the part where he comes home after he moves to London, and then his friend sold his television. He's like, "You sold my telly?" Like I thought that was hilarious. Like he came back, and he's like, "I needed the money," and he's like,
That was
my telly. Yeah.
I highly recommend you guys watch The Wire. It's about the drug trade and so much else. It's one of my favorite shows of all time.
It's a great
if you guys
show.
haven't seen it already, highly recommend it.
Wire. Okay.
One of my favorite lines is from The Wire, where he says, "You follow drugs, you get drug users and drug dealers, but you follow the money, and you don't know where the fuck it's gonna take you." That's such a fucking good line.
What's your favorite name? What's your favorite line from Cops?
From Cops. I'll sell crack. I'm a prostitute.
The episode of Cops where my dad beat up a police officer.
Whoa.
Wait, is that real? Are you serious?
You know my
Yes.
you know my
No.
you know my
Yes, I am real. I am being very
Your
serious.
dad was on Cops.
Because
New Justin Lord dropped tonight.
it's
guys.
funny. So my uncle
You gotta-
is a
that episode-
cop, and he has an episode where he's being followed by the camera crew for the episode of Cops. It was just one episode, and my dad was on an episode himself where he got into a fight with cops, and this was all back in like 80s, 90s. Yeah.
you
Do
know
you have
you,
that on you? Is that on YouTube anywhere? Can you find that?
I'm telling you, I've been looking my entire life, and I have not
That's
found
your white whale.
either of those episodes. So I have two
crazy.
people on Cops. One cop, one not cop.
Arnold,
So-
Arnold and Donald. I think this is my favorite line from one of the episodes. It's a local cops show, but I think you guys would remember this. Like, officer, it's a toy, it's a toy, it's a toy.
Oh, yeah.
Who was that
we
again?
had,
I remember that.
his name was Edgar. There's this kid. He basically was like
Always an
He
Edgar.
he had moved here from the Philippines, and so he thought he made it big, and like he was just getting under everyone's skin, and he's toting around with a fake toy gun, and it was on an episode of Cops in Palm Springs, and they fucking got him. So
That's
hilarious.
great.
They pulled him over, right? And he they saw a gun, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's officer, it's a toy, it's a toy."
I feel like there's so many scenes where they're chasing someone and they go, "Why were you running?" And the criminal says, "Because you were chasing me." And it feels like one of those like Zen koans, like a tree.
Yeah.
If it falls in the wood, does it make a noise? It's like, "Why were you chasing me? Because you. Why were you running? Because you were chasing me."
That's what I would do. Like when we were kids, like whenever we would see cops, we would just run. We weren't really well. Maybe we were up to no good, but like yeah, we just always ran, and it was a thrill. The thrill,
You're like
of it.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, hopping fences. But then you get caught the time that you're trying to hop a fence and it has tack board on it, and you're
Oh,
getting stabbed
no.
on your hands, and then then they
I
catch
think
you.
you need to write a book about your life. I honestly think it could sell. Self-publish it on Amazon. Probably sell a couple copies.
Maybe once I get a new job, or if that were to retire me, then maybe.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
I don't want to take that risk though.
I have a
That's
question.
Trainspotting, fellas. I think we did it. I think it's time for final thoughts. Let's go around the room, give our final thoughts, where can people find you. And Chris, I will start with you.
Wait, Matt has a question.
Oh, Matt has a question.
Did anyone else think there would be more trains?
Ah,
That's my one complaint. Not enough
And they didn't do the
trains.
thing. They didn't say
There was some on the
Trainspotting
wallpaper.
once.
Besides, yeah,
Like,
the
On
minute-
the
wallpaper.
wallpaper.
Minute 50, I was like, you got to give me some real trains, guys. You know.
Oh,
Okay, that's it.
On that fact, it's a drug slang. Train spotting is drug slang in Edinburgh
Oh.
in the 1980s for used by addicts for shooting up in derelict locations.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
I know
Okay.
that.
There's so many
Okay.
layers.
That's crazy.
Layers
It's probably
to
a
this.
metaphor too for the whole story, right? Because when you're train spotting, that's an actual hobby out there. You're not. It's like weird. You're just like looking at train numbers on the engine numbers. You're just wasting time, and it's like pointless. And that's
Right.
kind of like what you're doing when you're fucking high. You're
Right.
wasting
Yeah.
time, and it's
Yeah,
pointless.
you're like looking for something, you're waiting for
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And time is like literally passing you by without
Yeah.
you doing anything productive.
Yeah, there's a guy on TikTok who's famous for being a train enthusiast. He's not a drug addict though; he's just autistic. But I love his account.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's great.
You know who's
He's this
also
British guy.
you know who also is a train enthusiast? David Liebehart.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, he
from
is,
Tim and
isn't
Eric
he?
universe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Our old good friend, Justin and I are our old good friend David Liebehart.
you guys know a lot of people. All right, cool. Well, final thoughts. Let's get to it, Chris. Where can
Here.
people find you?
Oh, can you see
Oh,
it?
it's the effect.
There.
You'll have to,
I can see it a little.
Fucking
Yeah.
blue.
we'll have our interns add it to the show notes.
That's awesome.
Good stuff. But go ahead, Chris. You're on mute.
Hey guys, you can find me at Milkman America anywhere and everywhere. But this was a tough movie for me to figure out how I would rate it, because I think if you put this up against any of the best pictures that we just watched of this year, it's just in a different category. So I don't think it's a fair fight to necessarily put it up against like these high production movies. I think that if you have, it's a very stylistic movie. So if you like that style, they don't really make movies like that to a lot of your guys' points. And so when you don't have, this like dying art form as far as like having this like really gritty, grungy, style, I mean, this is what you got. And so I think that there's something, obviously nostalgic about it. There's something, everything from like if you actually watch the movie or if you watch a lot of those movies during that time, it scratches that itch. Like there's just something very real about watching the movie. It's a very lived in experience. There's no flashiness. Even like the practical and special effects of the movie aren't over the top, right? It's kind of janky in some spots, but I again, that plays to the style. It's an entertaining film. It's just like not my taste. That's not something that I'm looking for. So like to like depict, oh, was the lighting good? Was the directing good? Was the acting good? Blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's fair, because it was almost like a hyper realistic documentary that like embellished on the life, but gave you some really interesting snapshots into how crazy that lifestyle is. And it's, if you haven't been a part of that lifestyle, or you've brushed upon it but not really delved into it, that there's a lot that I think you can sort of like say that you've experienced by just watching the movie. Like to see someone quite literally trying to get their drugs out of the dirtiest toilet they've ever seen, to what people are willing to do in that environment with their so-called friends, and the struggles of getting clean, not getting clean, people around you, people dying. It's a very just intense movie, and it's the impact of it is really felt. For me, I would rate it like a 5, and that's being generous. I do feel for the message of the movie, having gone through a lot of those experiences, whether it be near the lifestyle or actually going through my own sobriety and failing and getting back. And luckily being sober now for 7 years. That's not to say that at any point, right, my movie keeps going and then I fall off, right? But it's about the journey. It's not a destination. 2.5, it was entertaining. It's not my style, but I can see if you like the style, you know what, they knock it out of the park. So that's what I think.
Well said, Chris. And I warn you right now, you might get some comments of love on YouTube from this, but that's okay.
Absolutely.
I think
Send them my way.
Donnie, let's go to you next. What are your final thoughts?
Oh man, I like this film. I didn't know. Obviously, it was early in his career, so this is Danny Boyle. But he also did movies like Slumdog Millionaire, 28 Days Later, The Beach.
Steve
like,
Jobs.
These are films. Yeah, Steve Jobs.
Love that movie.
127 Hours or something like that. The one where
that one was good too.
Yeah, those were all good. And then when I start looking at thinking about those films and this one, it's like I really do appreciate his choice, his direction, his choice with camera work, and like the quick rapid scene cuts and like the jittery movement. I feel like it really plays into the character and like it really brings life into that into what he's trying to capture throughout the movie. And so for me, this was kind of like my thing. Like I like these grungy stylistic type of movies, and it's a 4 out of 5 for me. This is one of my top films that I own. Actually, I just can't find the copy right now, but I know it's somewhere in there. I was gonna buy another one because I was like, where the fuck is it? But anyways, you can find me on _ Donnie Appleseed, pretty much on all the social medias. If you want to check out my photography, it's 125 Photography, all one word. Also on Instagram. And yeah, did I miss anything? I think that's it, right?
I don't think so, but he also did the 28 movies, which I've not seen the 28 Days Later movies. I haven't seen any
those
of
are
those.
good movies. Those are good
The
movies.
Beach with Leo DiCaprio. I forgot
With
about
Leonardo
that.
DiCaprio.
And Sunshine,
The marijuana
which is a
movie.
great movie. Love that movie. And Steve Jobs. I mean, you guys know I'm a big Aaron Sorkin fan. Yeah, Danny Boyle's great. Justin, I'll go to you next. What are your final thoughts on Trainspotting?
Yeah, so this was a really good, fun film for me to watch. I have seen it before. It was good to kind of get a refresher because I completely forgot about like the baby scene and the poop bomb at the dinner table. But other than that, like this movie has a little bit of a mix of everything: comedy, some seriousness, and real truths and reality to a window or a peep through the curtain inside like what addiction is all about. And I would say for the most part, this movie is pretty accurate on that, just based on my experience alone. I've never been an addict. Okay, I'm addicted to video games and movies. That's what I'm addicted to, and food. Yeah, so I'm addicted to a bunch of stuff.
Not the worst addiction you can have.
But being a child of somebody that was an addict, it's an interesting life, especially when you're trying to develop a relationship with your parent and they don't really want anything to do with you other than like maybe see you once in a while because he has to, because of court reasons, or it's an interesting kind of lifestyle from my perspective. I think besides getting all emotional about that side of things, as far as Trainspotting goes, I think I personally love the nitty-grittiness of filmmaking. I honestly, until Donnie said it, I didn't know that Danny Boyle did 28 Days Later, and I don't know why. I guess I never really like put two and two together when I was watching Trainspotting. But Adrian, I do highly recommend it. If you don't like zombie movies, I highly recommend you watch 28 Days Later. I'm sure you, as a film person yourself, you would appreciate the film.
I'm trying to watch that movie for 20 years.
Yeah, for almost 28 years, because that movie just came out too. Anyway, I think Ewan McGregor is an excellent actor in no matter what he does. I think all the other actors are pretty great too, but Ewan McGregor definitely was like, I'm putting my heart and soul into this, and I really appreciated that he dug deep. I don't know how much like method acting, if he does method acting, that he did to prepare for this role. I think he really sold it as somebody who's just in this clusterfuck of a world, trying to live day by day, get his next fix. I think he portrayed that perfectly. Also, when it comes to so I do like the style, but I would say that the lighting in some of the scenes seem a little bit flat and off to me. almost to the point where I'm like, okay, this is obviously like a set piece. Like, I don't know. I guess from the rest of the movie, there's like a scene that involves like a red window, and I know that was kind of more or less like this hallucinatory dream type of thing going on. I just really felt like it pulled away from me focusing on what was happening in that scene. I was like, oh, that's a really red window that's shining red onto this scene. So there were some stylistic choices that I wasn't particularly a fan of. But other than that, it was a very enjoyable movie. I would say there wasn't a moment in time where I was left with like, oh, okay, let's wrap this up. It felt like every single minute of the movie had filled space that made sense. Is very cohesive, and I was able to digest what was happening relatively easily, while still getting the bigger picture of their world building. Other than that, great film. I think it has some good rewatchability. Maybe like a couple more times I'll probably dip into it. It has great rewatchability. If you're not into like addiction films, such as like Requiem for a Dream or Trainspotting, or I would say even like maybe even A Cure for Wellness or whatever. These movies probably aren't for you. But if you're into Danny Boyle's style, and you're into like those really like crazy, like, oh man, this is a little bit too real for me type of movies, then this is actually a great movie. And I don't mean to keep bringing up like Requiem for a Dream as if it's like some like plateau movie, because I know I just can't think of it right now. Yeah, Requiem for a Dream is a very good movie, but I feel like there's other movies out there, including Trainspotting,
Fear and Loathing,
that deserve maybe Fear and Loathing.
We mentioned Blow.
I only say that. Blow's a really good. That one actually made me cry.
Even Goodfellas has its elements of abuse.
Yeah, we love abuse. No, it's joking. No, anyway, I'll just say good film. I'll give it a solid. Man, I feel like I'm doing it on the spot, by the way. I feel like I'm going to give this movie a 3.5 out of 5.
Strong 3.5.
Yes, you can follow me on the socials, GhostNerd88. And if you want to follow me personally, it's Shibs the Zombie.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate
That's
it, Justin.
Bye.
Donnie, you wanted to say something?
I just forgot to mention this, like the grittiness of this film. It was shot on 35 mil, and then they used color enhancements to kind of boost up the coloring. So I don't know if that was because, I mean, I'm sure it was like a choice that the director made intentionally, right, to get that look. And then one more thing I forgot to mention earlier when I was talking was Mikey Forrest, the character, the drug dealer, the guy who gives him the spot stories. That's actually the writer of the book. His name is Irvin Welsh.
Oh, nice, interesting,
Cool.
Thank you for sharing that. Alex, we'll go to you next. What are your final thoughts on Trainspotting?
This scratches the itch of my 90s, my love for 90s cinema, like very heavily. It plays in, like, 90s cinema is very, very laden with like the music, the prime heyday of music video creativity. And you could often see it bouncing back and forth with their visuals. You know, you often see like in music videos they do these like they often do these like really wild like takes on. If you watch like a Bjork video, you know, like the way that they shoot certain things, or even like say something like Radiohead's No Alarms. That they have there's this one music video with Radiohead with Tom York. He's in this like huge glass bubble, and it's like they're playing the song, and he's like kind of lip syncing, but the water is rising slowly above his head, and it's just like this really, you know, it's like a metaphor for like the whole song. No alarms, no surprises, but he's like drowning in this like sort of. You listen to the lyrics and like what the song's meaning is. It's like. But he's like, he should be alarmed. You know, the water is rising above his head. Same thing with like the visuals in this film. You know, like diving into a toilet bowl to like retrieve some suppositories. The the when he's going through the throes of like withdrawal, all the things that he's seeing, the baby and the Spud sitting on top of the uh the cabinet with the change on his legs. He's like rattling back and forth, and it's kind of mirroring certain real life sounds that are going through his head. And the intensity of like what of what he's going through. I just love that. It's just so visually pleasing, but at the same time, it's also like I think what Donald was saying with like it was shot on 35 millimeter, and then they color graded it. They kind of showcase that era um of Europe, of like Scotland, and like they have it kind of like makes it feel even more gritty, like the grayness of it. I know, like it feels like Justin was mentioning how it kind of felt muted a little bit, but I think that's what he was going for. I think that was like the tone of the film, and I think that plays into the starkness of that, like that drug addiction, like the chase for something to feel, and then if you notice, like at the very end when he's walking away, like that's when it starts to feel brighter, and it's like so much so it's like kind of like almost like the light starts like flashing, and then it's the end of the film. That's like probably the brightest part of the film. There's a lot of like cool like symbolism in it. It's not very heavy, the symbolism in it, but it's very like very just kind of this artfully done. Like the acting is really like all the casting is really really done well. I think that each actor portrayed their role very very well. Like Begbie, like that guy, Robert Carlyle, he's kind of a legend in like British acting. He's such a good character actor. I think they tried to make him like the main guy in a lot of things, but it was like I don't think he's like cut out for being the main guy. But I do feel like he's such a very good main character, like character actor. Same thing with the guy who plays Sick Boy. I think they tried to make him like a main character guy, but like he's just he's also just a really good character actor, and like everybody in there. Huge crush on Diane. She was like the bob haircut, the short, what can I say?
The 15-year-old? No, I'm just kidding. She's 19 actually. She was 19 in the movie.
Of course.
Like in real life.
I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't have like cast a real 15-year-old.
I'm just fucking with you, bro.
But
just think of the climate we're in. We're in. That's all I'm gonna say.
Exactly.
It's not Godfather. Remember how that thing set us up.
Yep.
Oh, like what?
Exactly. But overall, I really love this film. One of my top favorites of all time. I give it a 5, and you can find me at Daily Dares on all the socials.
Awesome. Just in time for the second,
that calls
the
for
third
loosening up of the hips.
Stretchman. While you guys are doing that, Donald, let's get to you, my friend. What are your final thoughts on Trainspotting?
My thoughts, I just loved how, like everybody else was saying, just how gritty it was. I also love the hip thrust by Arnold right now.
You won't find that on Kyle Ayer's show. I'm just saying.
I also love for me, it's just some of the shots. Like I said, it's the baby shot. I love the grave yard shot. I love one of the other shots I kind of appreciate is when they were in the countryside and it kind of broke up all the like grittiness and like the street shots. So it kind of like broke it up a little bit. And I just appreciate, like, it kind of gives me a feeling like I like how Justin, my dad was an addict a little bit too. So, I mean, I grew up around a lot of these kind of type of characters. Like, I knew a guy that was similar to Sick Boy. I knew a guy that was similar to Bigsby, just always like to fight. Like, I have a couple of friends that were similar to that. But, and so it gives me a sense of, like, this is my type of people. I just think it's funny that that, and I grew up in some of those weird, ugly ass apartments with like a hole. And I didn't grow up in it, but I mean, like, I've been to some of my friends, and I've lived in some slums that were similar to that. And next door neighbors were probably like tweakers or heroin addicts like that. But I mean, all in all, I give it probably a heavy 4. I dug it when I first watched it in high school, and then still to this day, great rewatchability. Still as gritty and like grimy as I remember it. You know, always good movie, good watch.
Nice.
And if you want
do you want to plug your show really quick? Go ahead.
Yeah, if you want to find me, my personal is Eho Del Quang on Instagram. And if you want to listen to our podcast, Absolute Marks Podcast, anywhere you guys can find podcasts.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Donald. Matt, let's go to you next. What are your final thoughts on Trainspotting?
Yeah, I think what's remarkable is it's been so long since I've seen it, and yet I could recall the scenes that stuck out to me. So I think that says a lot for a film that's has a lot of impact and is memorable. And then, yeah, as someone in recovery and in sobriety, I see behaviors that definitely ring true. And then by also growing up in around addiction and around alcohol and drug abuse, that, yeah, there's a lot of grittiness, a lot of rawness that feels accurate. And yeah, it seemed to have captured something, and it did such a good job of having multiple layers, addiction, kind of punk rock, 90s nihilism, HIV, and all of that kind of bundled together. So I'm gonna go 3.85, and yeah, I think it's great. And also, you know, I love that at that point in time, you know, they were making that had a budget of 3.1 million, which is close to like 6 million in like today's money. But like, you know, they don't make as many of those small movies like they used to. Instead, the industry now wants to just do 6 big ones for 100 million instead of a bunch of little scattered small ones. I do have faith that like there'll be like a film like resurgence on like social media that will like be in that same vein of IFC and independent kind of films. But it hasn't quite happened yet how I'm predicting, which I hope how it like eventually will come out, of seeing series come out just on these platforms. So yeah, overall I think it's great, and I'm really glad that I was here to talk about it with all you guys.
And where can people find you?
Oh yeah, at Struck Media on most platforms. So
Nice. I love your videos, by the way. You do these like sort of day in the life vlog style stuff, and you pick like a topic, a theme, and you expand on that really beautifully. So I just gotta say, like, keep doing that.
Thanks, man.
More
I
of
appreciate that.
I love it.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate you having you on as well. Arnold, it's that time of the show, my friend. Final thoughts, and you know what comes after that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll have to check out your videos, Matt. Look forward to, I gotta remember to follow you. So, final thoughts. So,
Why are we all laughing already? He hasn't said anything. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm trying to be a good boy here. So the final. Let's see. Final thoughts. THOUGH.
Yeah.
Yeah. TS. Yeah. I thought it was very entertaining. I mean, I kind of, for whatever reason, I'm drawn to that sort of style. I talked about it before, many episodes. What episode is this going to be once we drop this? 69. We're past 69, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
this will be 82.
Oh, 82 like Kobe. Oh, wait, no, 81. No, never mind. Oh, yeah. We're on 81 now.
A special drop-in guest appears,
What?
ladies and gentlemen. That Denver girl, aka Amber White,
did she drop in
is on the show.
when I dropped the number 69?
No, I don't know.
No.
Let's go.
Go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm forgetting where I'm going with this. Oh, yeah. So I grew up, like not even in this sort of lifestyle, you know, very family oriented. My parents protected us or protected me, very much like in a bubble. But and so I think that's what the big surprise was, most of all to them, that where I ended up and just how I don't think they knew exactly what, but they just knew that I was really into it, and but once you do get into that world, and then you start doing that stuff, just how it can really consume you and take over you, and you'll do things to get it. I will have to say, I never did things sexually for stuff. That's what people are asking on the private chat. Have you ever done this for stuff? I never have.
one assumed that, I think.
That's all. Well, that chat is wild. Okay.
Yeah, you know what? You need to start inviting us to that chat for real this time.
Hey, HLP, can you confirm that? How
Yeah,
wild it's
HLP's our inside man.
Wait. Oh no. So okay.
But you never did anything sexual. Right.
I was
For
texting
drugs.
that. Yeah. Just a lot of the relatability to Renton, the shot of I didn't remember seeing the baby, how the baby died at first. When I first watched it way back in the day, I didn't remember any of that. And so when I was watching that again while I was eating, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was like sometimes it was a little much for me, especially just because I have family, and and it's hard to see, hard to think of that type of stuff. And so and I remember even times where when I was doing drugs, and I'm like, dude, the baby's right there, man. You don't want to open the window at least or something, But yeah, so it just made me think of a lot of that stuff, and the ending, and actually when they're selling that bag of H, it was heroin that they were selling, right? That he got a few racks, and then he stole it out of Bigsby's. Was it Bigsby? Bigsby is Tyrone Bigsby from that was the Black KKK guy. It was Bigsby. I don't know.
Begbie.
Let's go with Begbie. Sure.
Yeah,
Bigsby was
was a
Tyrone
different.
Biggums.
Tyrone Biggums. Yeah. Yeah, he steals.
No, Tyrone's the guy from the Hood version of Fantastic Four.
Yeah, steals
The
it
Hood
out
version of
his,
Trainspotting.
The Hooder version of Train. Yeah.
I wonder. There's got to be one out there like that. That would be interesting to see. But yeah, how they get all that money, and I just when we were talking about this, I was like, what did he do with that money? And then the thought of that old skit from Dave Chappelle. I know sometimes we don't mention his name. Some people don't want me to. How the Tyrone Biggums, they're like with the crack rock, and then they're like, that'll be enough to keep us high for hours. He has this big, humongous pile of crack.
Right.
But I do want to think that he did good with his life after that. Totally escaped. But overall, yeah, I thought it was a good movie. I will probably watch it again because I'll tell you a little bit more in the next segment.
Ah.
But
Yeah,
for
well,
this,
what do you rate it for? Well, tell us what your
by my
your
letterbox
rating
rating,
is.
I'll give it a solid 3. Solid 3.
Nice.
With some pretty high rewatchability, especially since I now got it for free. Shout out to somebody.
All right.
And,
Arnold, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Oh, where can people find you, by the way, really quick?
I'm at Arnie Collego everywhere. You can find me at Arnie Collego.
Well, we've arrived. We've arrived to my favorite part of the show. I don't know about the rest of you guys. My favorite part of the show is the Arnold Snooze-o-meter. High production value, Matt and Donald, as you can tell on this show.
that's great. I'm impressed.
I can't get over it. This is like the second time it's happened to me. So
So
Play it again. It deserves some.
I give it a half Z because I admit a strong, a heavy half. Half Z.
Why?
So okay, I did fall asleep. I fell asleep the first time watching it, but I was watching it while I was laying down on my side on my phone, But I was about 3/4 of the way through, and probably maybe about 40% through, I started to start to doze off, and then I just fully committed. And I was like, I'm going to sleep now. And then my wife walks in and she's like, so you finished the movie? I was like, yeah, it's done now. But then she didn't know that I had to rewatch it the next night. And so yeah, but so maybe falling asleep like that much did maybe a higher Z rating, but it was I was just tired. I was tired. It wasn't because I was bored or anything. It's because I was tired.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Well,
thanks for that, Arnold.
Hey, thank you, Mr. BOOTZ Too Big.
You're welcome.
I feel like there was a couple of times where you missed a little part where you could have plugged your other podcast, the book podcast.
Oh yeah.
Here's
which I haven't edited in a while because I put all my time into this show.
Well, it was the part when.
Sorry, David, if you're watching, I'll get to it. I promise.
It was the part when you were
ahead.
talking about reading the book Pimp, and I saw.
Iceberg Slim.
I envisioned you like at a Starbucks, like in the middle of Starbucks, and then you're reading this book and it says Pimp, and then all these girls walk by, and then you're reading this book called Pimp, and then people are looking at you like.
I'm gonna have to try that next time because I only did the audiobook, so there's no cover to be shown, but next time.
Great conversation.
Audiobook.
What's that?
I said you open the audiobook while you're in Starbucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just put my phone on speaker and I'll hit the. I actually recommend Pimp. It's a good book. It's like no other book. He literally just talks about what it's like to be a pimp, and he has this very interesting vernacular that he uses. It's great. I recommend it.
Do you remember the old school audiobooks where it's just like all audio cassettes and there's like they're all.
Oh yeah. Books on tape.
What if you open it up and all the tapes fell out?
Well, you know what? Gen Z would like that because they're all about old media now, right? So they're all about like tapes and CDs.
I'm
about physical
big
media.
fucking thing with the cassette tapes.
Speaking of which,
I'm not trying to date you though, Alex.
Right.
What's that?
Speaking of which, if I can show off, look at this TV I found down the street with the working DVD player. I brought it home and was like, I don't think the DVD player works, but
The CRT.
Does it work?
Wow.
yeah, it does. I hooked up my Nintendo 64 to it.
I was just gonna say you could play so much 007 on that. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
Mario Kart 007. It was sick.
Nice. I love it. I love
Did
it.
you go back to that book, Adrian Pimp? Did he sum it up by saying that pimping ain't easy?
Basically, he said it's not easy. It's not worth it.
Goes down.
You
That's
can't
like the
trust
quote
these
on the
hoes.
back. It's like
Pretty much.
can't turn
Pretty
a
much
hoe
says, yeah,
into
you
a
can't trust these
housewife.
hoes.
Yeah.
That's what he said it, not me. I'm not calling anybody hoes. So don't, for those,
Well,
cancel me.
if anyone's in the mood for a very dark documentary film, American Pimp is a pretty look inside of like pimping in America, and it's dark.
Nice.
So
I like it.
You know,
I like
That
that.
one, I think there's actually one called Pimps Up, Hoes Down.
What?
I'm gonna have to watch that. So many good movies to watch. You guys will tell me.
Is that
I'll
the
already
one with
drink
the Godfather from WWE?
Yeah. The hoe.
But quick final thoughts. Yeah, this is one of my favorite movies. I'll put this up there with some of my favorite movies from the 90s that we've discussed on this show, including Groove, including Doom Generation. Danny Boyle's a fantastic director. He's directed some of my favorite movies, and I'm assuming movies that I will like if I will actually watch them. But 127 Days, Sunshine, Steve Jobs. This movie is a classic, I think. Just from a filmmaking perspective, like if you're a filmmaker at any level, especially starting out, like you should watch this movie just for the production design alone, like the different shots that he makes in this, the editing style. I mean, it's all great just from a filmmaking perspective. And knowing that it only cost, what was it, $3 million? Is that what someone said? $3 million?
3.1 million. Yeah.
I mean, that's nothing now, and that was honestly nothing back then either. So it's crazy that they were able to pull that off, And one of my favorite grungy drug crime type movies. I like. It's a caper, it's a comedy, it's all that. So I've already rated it on Letterboxd, which is 3.5 stars. And of course, you can find me on Letterboxd at Boots Too Big. You can find the show everywhere else. Follow us. Never Seen a Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, Facebook. and X. Visit our website, neverseenitpodcast.com. Email us, podcast.neverseenit@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts from. By the way, Apple's going to be doing video here soon, so you'll be able to watch our beautiful faces on there as well. If you like the show, share it, leave us a review, leave us comments. We love comments. Comments of love. We'll read everything. Big thanks to Mr. Kyle Maps and a Burn Cycle for our intro and outro music. You can follow Kyle on Instagram at selfies_food_and_pets. Thanks to Healing Laughter Power for always being in the chat with us, hanging out, and for the Arnold Snooze Meter music. Thanks for listening. Any other final thoughts from the gentleman before we go?
Black Hawk Down is the sequel to Trainspotting.
Okay,
we should
so
watch Trainspotting.
there you go. Wait, is there a Trainspotting too?
Yes, there
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
shit.
is, yeah. They've been telling it to us in chat the whole time.
I have not. I did not see that at all.
I've seen it. It was good.
Is it good?
Who's
Yeah.
that
It's
with?
good. The
Is it
same
Sicker
cast.
Boys kid?
Same cast.
Or-
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
cast?
Same cast.
He had a-
He
the
opens up a
director-
boba shop. That's the plot. He opens up a boba shop.
Oh, that's right. He did do a part.
Ewan McGregor and the director had a fallout for a while, so that's what took so long.
Well, Ewan McGregor stole Mary Elizabeth Winstead from her husband, so he's a bit of, I don't know. Did we lose somebody? We lost Arnold.
I think we lost Arnold.
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh.
that's fine. We're gonna say bye to the chat.